What if I told you that the secret to getting ahead isn't about being the smartest person in the room? Today, we're cracking open Robert Greene's incredibly controversial book, The 48 Laws of Power. And we're starting with the very first and maybe the trickiest rule of them all: never outshine the master.
You can just feel the manipulation in that, can't you? This isn't about working hard, it's about playing the game of egos. What Greene is really saying here is that your rise to the top isn't paved with your own brilliant achievements. Nope, it's about how well you can make your superiors feel secure, brilliant, and, well, superior, even when they're not.
And this is exactly where things get dangerous. Think about it. We're all taught to shine, right? To show off our talents and stand out. But in the chess game of power, Greene warns us that this very instinct, it could be a fatal mistake.
So you think your talent makes you the star player, a huge asset, but from your superior's point of view, that same talent can cast a really long, really threatening shadow. You're not just doing good work, you're accidentally shining a spotlight on their own insecurities, stirring up a fear they might not even admit to themselves. To really get the brutal power of this law, we need a good story. And of course, history gives us the perfect example of a guy whose only real crime was being a little too good at his job.
Okay, so picture this. We're in 17th century France. The young and very ambitious King Louis XIV is on the throne, and his finance minister, a guy named Nicolas Fouquet, who was known for being charming, smart, and having incredible taste. So wanting to prove his loyalty, Fouquet decides to throw a huge party for the king.
And this was Fouquet's fatal mistake. This wasn't just any party. It was a spectacle, a show so grand it made the king's own events look, well, kind of shabby. As guests gushed over their amazing host, King Louis wasn't feeling honored. He was feeling upstaged. Fouquet thought he was showing off for his king, but all the king saw was a rival whose star was shining way brighter than his own.
The consequence was swift and it was brutal. The king didn't see a loyal minister anymore, he saw a threat to his own glory. Fouquet's talent wasn't rewarded, it was punished with a lifetime in a dungeon. It's a pretty chilling lesson about the price of outshining your master.
Fouquet's story shows us the brutal what, but to really use this law, we've got to understand the why. So let's try to get inside the head of a superior and explore that messy, volatile mix of envy, fear, and insecurity that's really running the show.
The answer? Well, it all comes down to some of the most basic and powerful human emotions there are.
Look, people in power, no matter how confident they seem, are often swimming in insecurity. Your brilliant idea doesn't just solve a problem. To them, it can feel like you're silently criticizing their own abilities. Publicly, they'll clap you on the back, but privately, they're sizing you up as a threat. And just like King Louis, a leader will almost always choose someone less dazzling, someone more manageable, over a potential rival.
And you can make this mistake in two big ways. You could be like Astori Manfredi, who was so naturally brilliant he accidentally woke up the insecure monster in his boss, Cesare Borgia. Or you could be like the emperor's favorite, Senno Riku, who got so comfortable, so chummy with his boss that he just forgot the rules still applied to him. Whether it's by accident or by arrogance, both paths lead straight to disaster.
Okay, so we've seen all the dangers. But Law 1 isn't just a list of don'ts, it's a strategy guide. Now let's dig into how you can actually turn this principle into a powerful tool for your own success. Instead of getting punished for his brilliance like poor Fouquet, Galileo used his incredible discoveries to lift himself up by first lifting up his patrons. He understood this game perfectly. This is where Galileo's genius really comes out. I mean, he makes one of the most important discoveries in human history. Does he name the moons after himself? No way. In a total masterstroke of political skill, he names them the Medicean stars, a direct shout-out to his patrons, the Medici family. He literally tied their name to the heavens, and in return, they secured his position and his power right here on Earth. He made them shine, and they showered him with rewards.
So, how do you actually put this into practice? It's really an art of subtle flattery. You publicly give them credit for your best ideas, you ask for their advice, even on stuff you already know the answer to, just to make them feel like a wise mentor. These little acts of deference are like a balm for their ego. By letting them have the spotlight now, you're not making yourself smaller. You're securing their favor and quietly setting yourself up for the long game.
But what if you're just tired of hiding in the shadows? What if your boss is genuinely incompetent? This brings us to the really juicy part, the exception, or what Greene calls the reversal of the law.
This is the question that separates the novice from the true master of this game. You see, this law isn't about being a yes man forever. It's about timing. And, even more importantly, it's about being able to tell how strong and stable the person above you really is.
Your entire strategy hinges on this. If your master is a strong sun, secure in their position, you have to be patient. But if they're a falling star, weak, insecure, losing their grip, well then there's absolutely nothing to fear. That is your moment. That is when you can discreetly but decisively outshine them and position yourself as the obvious replacement. And that right there is the ultimate reward for all your patience. See, power is never permanent. By playing the long game, by mastering this art of subordination when you need to, you're making sure that when your master's power finally fades, and it always does, you're in the perfect position to rise up and take their place.
In the end, Law 1 is all about understanding the simple physics of power. There can only be one sun in the sky at a time. So don't try to be a rival star burning just as bright. Instead, be the clever astronomer who understands that by making that sun shine even more intensely, you're the one who gains the power to navigate the entire cosmos. So the question is, are you going to be the fleeting meteor or the patient strategist just waiting for a new sun to rise?